Take us in.
Okay. So it is Lienne Forest, and up top we have our allied team that consists of nothing but U.S. forces, which is going to be very, very interesting. Our red U.S. forces player, A-Tank. Our pink U.S. forces player, Looney. Our somewhat reddish-orangish player, Cookies and Cream, who I really love that player. I actually cast him all the time. He's a really, very good player. And North Weapon, also a very good player, as well as our purple U.S. forces player. And down at the bottom, our green Wehrmacht player, Assbag, and our teal OKW player, Cruz, whom I also am a fan of, Sir Lamy, as our yellow OKW player. And you know what? I actually never know how to pronounce this guy's name. I always just say Tume as our blue Wehrmacht player. If anybody, or Tume, I have no idea. I always.
Finland,
But our first engagement over on the left side here with Stern Pioneers, and our rear echelon troops made it to the house first. But Stern Pioneers, of course, good at shooting into the house, and the rear echelon troops bail. And I think that was a little bit of an early leave. They could have waited for those riflemen to get in there.
Yeah, you might be right, but again, you can't blame a guy for not wanting to lose any manpower, please, especially that early in the game. You know, 4v4, it's different though, Jay, because the retreat line is a lot further back, so these guys have got to spend a lot more time backing up back to the retreat point.
Yeah, that is right. And now it looks like the Wehrmacht has captured the right side of the map, and for now, Volksgrenadiers riflemen going at it, and so many riflemen are going to be on this map. They're just going to be everywhere. 4 U.S. forces. It's going to be a very interesting and fun match.
Yeah, on the Axis side, you have Ninja Squad. They're made up of pretty much the best 1v1 players in Finland. You got Asbag, which is one of the best names, I think, to cast.
Yeah, that is very fun.
Asbag, Cruz, who's one of the best players in the game, as well as Toon and Sherman. So it's a formidable opponent for USF, who's pretty much a new and upcoming team on the 4v4 soon. They have, like you said, players who tested before in North Weapon and Cookies and Cream. Are very good players.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely an MVP sort of kind of game going on here, and we have 2 MG42s on the right side here, stopping the U.S. forces, but I got a rifleman moving around to the left side and moved outside of the arc of fire there, forcing that one up. It's going to have to bail out of there and reset up. The other MG42 facing the other way as well, so these riflemen are just pushing on in and capitalizing on that.
Yeah, Aspect went with 3 HMGs, kind of interesting to see. Not a terrible choice. Maybe a little too crowd control heavy though.
Yeah.
You know, 2 MGs should be enough to cover the force.
Exactly. Yep. And it looks like riflemen have moved all the way up to the front on the left side in the house, and giving the Wehrmacht a little hard time here. And we have some Volksgrenadiers on the other house, but neither side can really fire at each other. No windows in between there, so they're just chilling around, having a good time.
Yeah, it's like competing frat houses right there.
Yep. Who can bid the most? I actually got a bid for a frat one time, but I had to deny it because I am just not frat material.
Oh, well, that's yet to be seen, I think, Jay. Anyway, it's really interesting. It's a nice job by Looney, who's pushed all the way down to that building. That's what you want to see as allies. Starting from the northern position, you have to push the Axis back. Again, that's the key. For allies to win, they have to push the envelope, put pressure on the Axis in 4v4. You have the advantage. You have 4 allied players playing against 4 Axis players. Allies succeed in the beginning.
Yeah, with the superior numbers of the infantry in each squad and putting them in, utilizing all the windows in the houses, firing away. It's just more firepower that comes out of the houses.
Yeah, it's a number game, and there you go. The benefit pays off. There's an HMP goes down on the left-hand side, and somebody right here looks like A-Tank's going to pick it up and run off with it. So nice to see that.
And on the right side here, allies are really pushing in now. And pushing into the center there where the munitions point is, forcing the Wehrmacht back, and they'll be able to get behind those MGs. Only 1 MG there on the right now, so not too much defense over there, so should fall here shortly, but is in German hands at the moment.
Yeah, North Weapon, guys, if you play USF 4v4, take a look at North Weapon. He's going to teach you a lot on how to play this right now. He knows how to play 4v4. He knows what it takes to succeed as allies. So what he's doing is pushing the envelope again. What you want to see as allies. So very well done by Northwestern.
Yeah, we have an MG42 in the woods there, pushing up towards the Allied side in the territory point. And it is just having a field day with all those units that were crammed inside of there. And now all of those units are in retreat on home. And so far, 2 victory points for the Germans and none for the Allies at the moment. So 500 to 419 in favor of the Germans right now. 3/4 ton ambulance here in a little bit of trouble. The 222 right behind it, going to lose that ambulance. And he bails out on it, saves the medics at the very least. And then loses the 222. So I suppose that is an eye for an eye.
Yeah, kind of an interesting trade-off there. Nobody comes out on top, in my opinion. Maybe the USF struggles a little bit more. That's that much more you're going to have to replace. Not a good sign.
And Allies just cannot get a hold of this left side victory point here. Now bringing some assault engineers. It has an M20 there to hold on to that. So, and just now starting to grab that. Does have some rear echelon troops in the town in the front there. But a very interesting match so far. And I really enjoy the fact that there's 4 USF. I think USF is my favorite army in the game. And yeah, M20 pushing in.
Yeah, don't think it's so cool. I mean, a lot of people think Axis are OP in 4v4. I think we're starting to see the tide turn. I think Allies have now really solidified their side in 4v4, and that's as aggressive. So, honestly, it seems to be that it's going to be Allies on top.
Yeah, I really do. You know, I don't feel that the Axis is overpowered, and I think maybe late game they might be a little bit better. But as long as you deny their fuel, they are just simply not very overpowered at all. If you deny them the King Tiger and Panthers, it's just pretty much equal ground, and it really comes down to a matter of skill. Now all 3 victory points for the Allies, and so we'll start turning this game around here shortly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Pete. I think that they have just as many chances and opportunities as the Axis do. If they can win the early game, there's just that much more going for them. Axis, you really got to make it too little, too late. And the Allies have every tool available, and they should be able to push these guys back. So let's see if they can do it. Off the bat, you're looking at USF leading 475 to 393. That's a big chunk for the USF All-Stars. They've done a good job against some of the best players in the game to really hold this side.
Yeah, right now they just losing by a little bit, but with 2 of the victory points in the hands of the Germans, so it did fall back once again. So it's a pretty tight match so far. And Lieutenant and Rifleman M20 moving into the center. Going to force those Pioneers out of there. Should allow the Allies to capture that center. Really only a Kuba wagon. And the M20 will beat that Kuba wagon should he choose to chase it. But he's going after the sniper instead. Forcing that out of there, but misses it. It's forced on out of there. And the right side is just a cluster of Allies here. Incendiary grenade goes down there, forces them out of there just a little bit. And now back in the hands of the Allies, 2 victory points and 1 for the Germans.
A nice job. Really good to see Northrop. He's got a nice... he's at 46 popcat out of 100. He's got 4 rifle squads on the field, plus a lieutenant, plus his rear echelon, and he's got an MG42. So Northrop is really doing the right thing on the right side of the watching, and he's not letting Axis get a foothold. He's keeping the pressure on. That's what you want to see. Cookies, you got to get up here, help your buddy out a little bit more. He called the stewards, so he's lagging behind a little bit, but these guys have really done their part.
Yeah, doing a really great job holding that MG42. Allies, as I always like to say, the U.S. forces loves to steal MGs because it's sort of a pain to have your own MG and get the lieutenant when sometimes you need the captain. So it's better off just stealing somebody else's MG. M5 Stuart did beat that Luke's that was on the field there, as the M5 Stuart is the best of the light vehicles. Although the armored car might be better now that they upgraded it. They buffed it a little bit.
Yeah, I think you still have the advantage with the Stewart. Stewart's a great unit. Can do infantry, can handle any of the Axis light armor. It's been a big problem for Axis. Their light vehicles can't go toe-to-toe with the Allies. So, you really see these units take command of the field, and it's nothing but trouble for the Axis.
Yeah. The M5 Stuart has the bigger gun and more armor than the Lukes, and it's just a really great, especially with that shell shock ability, is just one of the most useful skills in the game. Even late game, hitting a Tiger or something like that with that shell shock ability can mean the difference between losing that Tiger or not, or killing it rather, and stunning it momentarily for something else to hit it. I just love the M5 Stuart. I get it one every game in 1 vs. 1 if I can, depending on the situation, of course.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Jay. I mean, but that unit, even though it's the end of the game, it might not be great against Panzer IV or Panther, but the fact that it can have the destroy engine, just keep that unit off to the side and bring it in to destroy engine before it goes out in a blaze of glory is a great unit in this game.
Luke's here pushing up towards the center, but it's right after right in front of a captain, and he loses that to the captain. That was a very unnecessary loss by Cruz. That Luke's there, and captain fired out of the windows and destroyed that Luke's, and should have known that was going to happen there, but very unfortunate. And the left side here, Allies trying to capture the left side, and Germans owned the center, and the right side owned by the Allies, so each side with 1 right now. 431 for the Germans and 388 for the Allies at the moment.
Yeah,
or for the U.S. forces.
Really nice shot by the captain in the building. What can you do? That's some nice long range. And a little bit of RNG on the side too. And yeah, Kuzu loses that reaches. Luke's at 44 is a different unit than 1v1. It can't be that shock unit that takes over the field. You have to use it in a defensive manner. You have to let it get a veteran and not be over aggressive. Cruzy paid the ultimate price with it.
Right, and the Germans right now have abandoned the right side of the map and are now just going for the left in the center, which is an option in this map. I actually, I always prefer to, if possible, to abandon the right side of the map there. As the right side of the map on this game does help for flanking, but really contains very little resources.
Yes or no, I think they cannot abandon that side if they want to win the game. They have to hold a foothold there. Northrop is doing the right job. Northrop is pushed all the way to the outside of the Axis base. Take every point away possible, which he's doing, as you see he's doing in the south, even with his medics, as he takes that point away. Just to take as much fuel away from them as possible. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So, newer players, when you're watching Northrop, he's doing the right thing. They chose to give up that side. Personally, as a 4v4 player, I would never give that side up. There is a munition point, there is a cap point, there are plenty of cap points, and there is a victory point. You need that side, make them respect that side.
Stuka a moment ago was lost to that Stuart. The Stuart ended up dying on the way out, but did lose a Stuka there to a Stuart, which is actually sort of surprising. Should have that Stuka way far back, but that Stuart went into enemy territory there and finished it off. Now there's a Rakettenwerfer in a pack there.
Who lost the Stuka? I missed that.
I think that was Asbag who lost us. No, it was either Cruz or Surlami. I can't remember who actually lost it, but it was a Stuka, and definitely not very good.
No, sir, definitely not.
And the right side still holding really strong here for the U.S. forces, and now they're capturing the territory point right in front of their base. So now going to hold the entire right side there. So that's going to be quite a bit of resources for the Allies, and now the battle really is just raging on the left and in the center, which sometimes the way this map goes anyway is that's, although you certainly wouldn't want to give up the right side, but usually this map ends up this way anyway, with a lot of people just massing things in the center, and on the left side starts to get to be kind of a cluster, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get that side up. It's not a fun side to fight on. Nobody likes fighting in the forest, but you have to grit it out. You have to get that side. Each one of those little capture points, they add a little fuel, they add a little munition. You got a muni point, you got a victory point. Make it a priority. Those two guys on the right-hand side for the Axis have to get that point. So Toon and Aspen have to figure something out. Don't abandon that side completely.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody just mentioned lost to Stuka without it even firing, and that was the case. It didn't even get to fire, and so that was just a big, big loss there. And now there's a Sherman out on the field there for Looney. And in the center, the battle still raging here. Looks like the Allies have stolen themselves the Pack 40. Now going to run off and covet thy Pack 40. And I don't know where the ammo is for it, but they'll figure it out.
Yeah, you see that carcass of the Stuka in the middle of the map. That's heartbreaking. I don't know whose it was, but definitely not very productive.
Yeah, especially when you lose it to a steward. I suppose that's somewhat of a slap in the face, and you know you should have kept it much further back. I'm not sure what he had it all the way up there for, what he was actually intending to strike with it, but wasn't a very good spot. But either way, hindsight is 2020, I suppose, and it does happen from time to time.
Very true. Well, we already have a Sherman on the field for Looney. He's rushed it. Definitely a good choice. He's in the city on the left-hand side. Sherman's a great unit to have in the city. It's going to do work, especially with the HE rounds, units in buildings, units in tight spaces. So, yeah, very good choice by Looney to
yeah, and now it's actually moving forward, and he does have HE rounds right now and hit those Fallschirmjägers directly. He took out 2 men with one shot there, and now he's going to be going after the Fallschirmjägers inside the house with HE rounds, forcing them out of there. So now that's going to leave the Axis able to capture the left side victory point once again. And they already have 2 victory points, the center and the forest side, which is pretty much uncontested right now, that forest, which is a little bit disappointing, as there's really not that much in the forest to actually stop them from getting that. Now, Cruz has another Stuka out. I believe that was Cruz's Stuka at the beginning. I'm not really actually sure. I'd have to actually look at the replay again, but there is another Stuka out on the field there, and he actually launched. And looks like he got a total of 5 kills with it, so not too bad.
Yeah, it's Cruz's. He had no choice but to replace it. He's just too much allied on the field. You're absolutely right. By not sending enough units on that right-hand side, even though there's not a lot over there, they have to play there. They have to figure out what is there. Maybe they have a chance to retake it while the Allies are focusing on the left. But to leave it uncontested is not aggressive.
And a good side view of the battlefield I got going here, and there's just units absolutely everywhere. It looks like an ant farm, and with all of the U.S. forces, with all of those riflemen out in the field, there's plenty to watch. And Sherman is pushing forward again, and the Allies pushing forward deep on the left side now. And the battle group headquarters is in a little bit of danger here. Sooner or later here, it's gonna get taken out, and the forces are gonna get close to that and hold them down and force them to continuously reinforce at that battlefield, at that battle group headquarters. And apparently talking is hard today.
Well, you know, 18 somewhat minutes in, the Allies have plenty of infantry. They have a Sherman. Axis are stuck. What can they do? I mean, they don't have much on the field. Is a Panther going to come out? Panzer IV. These guys have not prepared for the onslaught of the Allied infantry.
There is a Panzer IV for Asbag in the center, but it isn't going after that Sherman right now. It's sort of dealing with the drama in the center right now.
Yeah, and that ties back to Cruzy. Losing that initial Stuka has obviously put him in a hole. He's just that much further behind.
Now the battle group headquarters is under attack here by the Allies, and took a couple of bazooka shots there. It's down to about half health. And once they lose that retreat point's going to be doubled, and it's going to take them a long time to retreat and come back. It's going to set them way back. There's a Panther now on the field here for Sir Lamy, moving towards the left side. Looks like it's trying to hunt down that Sherman.
Yeah, for these players, take note, Northweapon is doing the right thing. You're watching Northweapon on the right side. He's not sitting back. He's not content. He's taking each one of those capture points. Each one of those capture points, yes, a little munition, little fuel, not a lot, but it's going to make Axis' job that much harder. So if you're there, take it. Push the envelope, boys. Don't let them sit there on that field. So well done by Northweapon.
Cruz's Stuka now has 13 total kills on it, so now he's playing that a little bit better this time around. and getting some kills on there. And a barrage incoming here, and hitting the battle group headquarters area. Took out a ton of troops. There was just corpses everywhere now at Surlami's battle group headquarters down there on the left in the town. And Fallschirmjäger in the building here, and that Panther is going to prove to be a little bit trouble for the Allies, as there's only a Sherman over there, and a Sherman is somewhat inadequate to take down the Panther. But with some good gameplay, you certainly could do the trick. Now there's an M10 Wolverine, however, moving down to the left side for Wolverine as well. And Calliope firing there, hitting that area.
Jake, if you look over at Cruz has a really interesting build. I mean, he's got, excuse me, he's got 2 Stukas to boost. 1 was lost, so ultimately he's had 3 Stukas, and he's got 3 Raket Warriors. Interesting build. Not a lot of armor on the field. He's gone for a heavy indirect, followed by heavy AT in the Raket. So, not the most favorable build. 4v4 fire, you gotta be a little bit more balanced than that. You don't want to see one guy being the artillery guy. It's a shame, as these Stukas both are at under 1 veterans. So maybe not the wisest build order by Cruz.
Right, yeah, one of them just now got the first star veterancy, but yeah, Cruz sort of going for a support role right now, and you know, I feel that it is very tempting sometimes in 4 vs 4 to go for a support role, because you feel that your allies have the battlefield for you, but that just isn't always the case, and you really do need to go for a mixed build, just like any other bracket. So I think 1 vs 1s, you know, should show you how to play in 4 vs 4, and vice versa, really. But you really need a broad build.
He's one of the best 1v1 players in the game. I don't know if I agree with this build order here. Definitely suspect. Definitely heavy, whether it's AI or indirect fire. I think he's suffering for it. If you look at the stats, Cruz's lagging. He's behind. He's high on the field with minimal damage. That allied armor, that light AT is really what's given it to the Shermans and now ultimately a Pershing. So, too heavy on the indirect fire for my opinion.
Yeah, there is a Pershing on the left side of the field there from A-Tank. And looking to defend the area over here. Wolverine and a Sherman over there as well, so easily could overwhelm that Panther there. And I can see why Cruz had gone Stukas, because there was just so much infantry on the field. You can pretty much just blindfold yourself, spin around in a circle, and then click on the map somewhere, and you'll actually kill something. But it's really not just, it's just not doing the trick right now. It's not holding the U.S. back at all.
And I think that's the problem. I mean, Cruz was the one to be, you know, he's absolutely right. You need indirect fire. But Asbag has to do his part in indirect fire. Right now, he's got almost no one for 2 sniper and 2 guns and boys. You have Surlami, who has no indirect fire. So hopefully you left indirect fire up to Cruzy. And yeah, he's doing it for them, but as a team, they're hurting.
And I really think that's a common issue in 4 vs 4. Is what happens is that towards the end of the game, a lot of players will just go all tanks, and that's a big problem, because then you can't capture anything. You don't have any actual troops to actually capture anything when you have all tanks like that, and that's what's starting to develop here for the Germans, starting to pack on too many Panzer IVs and not enough troops to actually capture anything. And they're also just simply not capturing the right side. They could send a couple tanks and some troops over to the right side and easily take that out. Right now, they just pretty much gave up on it, and there's really only a lieutenant, I see a medic over there, and an MG42. That's about it on the right side, and that is nothing to be really intimidated from.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they haven't thought it out. It doesn't look like there's a new plan of attack right now. It just seems to be what can we do to stop the onslaught of Allied infantry, and that's a main problem. A lot of people played 4v4. How can you stop the onslaught of Allied infantry? You have to figure a way to weather the storm. Allies are going to dominate.
Yeah, I think a lot of Fallschirmjägers. I would like to see some Obersoldaten on the map here. And Obersoldaten just, especially once you get them high veterancy, they just absolutely dominate Allied troops. And yes. I don't really see any on the map at the moment.
You know, it's funny, because you look at Surlami, he's the only one who's been Fallschirmjägers. He's got that 4 and that 2. obviously they're doing their job, and he's exactly right. Those units, Boston-Makers, dominate American infantry. Build those units that you see for USF. And if we had four Salamis, I think the outcome may be a little bit different. And it shows,
Oh.
Jay, if you look at the match stats as it is, Salami is got the most damage. He is doing the job. Team aspect have to pick it up. Support unit is not going to float enough.
The Calliope there fired at the center victory point, took out a whole 4-star Volksgrenadier squad, all 5 men instantaneously there. That was a very interesting view.
Yeah.
Panzer IV and the Panther now moving across towards the left side here, and going to meet the Pershing and the Sherman. There's a Pack 40 there, so there's quite a bit of firepower from the Germans. It's going to force these tanks back here. M5 Stuart takes a few shots for the team, and now going to have to back out of there. Another Calliope barrage all over the place here.
And now you see the Axis are really starting to get problems in. They've been contained into one side of the map. It's not what you want. You have to, and that's, again, ties into what we were talking about earlier, Jay. That force, you have to have a couple of units in there. Harass, probe, see what's going on. There are few munitions and different points to have there. Take them back.
Yeah, not actually even completely abandoning it entirely is definitely not good. They haven't even sent anything over there to really test the waters at all, so it's a very strange. I find that very strange that they're not even remotely going for it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, dude. If you just look, I mean, North Weapons had time to build tank traps over and over again. You know, it's sad to see this, all those units. And, excuse me, all those points are going to give you a little bit of extra revolution. You need that as access. You need every little bit of help.
One of these Stukas does have 42 kills, though. He's a 3-star veteran, so that Stuka there is definitely paid for itself by now, so that is a good one. But the lack of infantry is not very good at all. Now the Volksgrenadiers are in the center, trying to take that victory point.
Yeah, you know, it's nice to see if we could all do cruising and have a Stuka. Cruz knows how to use a Stuka better than many. He's calling it infantry that he's making the most of each parade. But again, you're right. Does he have enough infantry to support his opponents? Does he have enough infantry to support his part?
To turn down my sound a little bit. It was a little bit too loud. Panther here is in trouble. Loses the Panther there to the M10, to dual M10s, that is. So there's a fair loss for the Germans. Now down to 47 for the Germans, 364 for the Allies. And the Germans currently taking the center victory point, but there is a barrage of some sort coming down. It looks like a maybe the pocket run.
So here we have it. You know, Cruzy pushes up in the middle. Allies sit at 364, which is a decent number. It's not the greatest. We get to see Allies have a little bit more control in 34. But they're up against tough opponents, so what can you say? USF has got their hands full.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Here comes some riflemen now to retake the center. Once again, there is an MG42 just sitting there. Might as well pick that up. They have so many units over here, and picking up that MG42 could stall the Germans even longer there in the center. It looks like Cruz has never selected a commander, by the way, and I don't even think I noticed that.
No, he hasn't, and he's also floating 700 manpower. Cruz, put some extra infantry out on the field. Something. You have to help your teammate out.
And he has 20 command points, so he could have a Jagdtiger out on the field. Well, he doesn't quite have the fuel for it, but certainly could have, or anything.
He's short of the fuel. He could use anything.
Or even a Sturmtiger.
Let's see. He's now all of a sudden at 30 minutes has decided to build another Sturm Pioneer and another Volkswagen. In 24, you see this all the time. People wait too long. Put these units out in the field. Get them busy. Get them working. Get them done. We're not doing anything sitting up building manpower. So get those units out earlier and get them fighting. And unfortunately, the troops are going to too late.
And M10, two M10s tried to go after that Panther there in the center of the map and failed miserably at doing so. Both of them were lost. So that Panther there got himself a couple extra kills and some additional veterancy. Now only 10 points for the unfortunate Germans this match. And the Germans actually started off with a pretty good match at the beginning and then just sort of fell into the wayside. A 4-star Stuka for Cruz there, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. Taking down those troops just wasn't enough. There was still just way too much. Very, very good game.
Yeah, they really let the Allies have their way. I don't think they put enough pressure back. They definitely could have. Tuna Cruz, I like the idea of losing that first. Ducas of Cruz was huge. Just like in 1v1, if you lose a unit like that, it's going to be very difficult to recover. I think Cruzy saw that. Assbag had an interesting name, interesting build order. I think he went maybe a little too heavy in crowd control on that side. 4 Pioneers is not going to do you any good, and they got run over. So let's see if they can turn it around when they play Allies. They have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, very good game. It was a fun game to watch.